Hey everyone, I'm out here working on a C3 rear clip. It's off of a 73 convertible that I found, and it's actually broken in half. The back half of the birdcage is completely rusted through, and I'm just salvaging some parts off of it. I got a good top, good turtle deck, some of those things. So I'm going to show you some things about how the Corvette's put together. Not a ton of this on YouTube, but you can see here that I've gotten some of the fender off the quarter panel, and what you're looking at here is this part down at the bottom is the bonding strip with a lot of glue on it, and the bonding strips are used to connect the panels together. Now where you see the parting line here up above, this is actually the SMC or pressed fiberglass deck. So you've got a fiberglass part, a fiberglass bonding strip which is glued onto both parts, and then your quarter panel goes on top of here. To separate this stuff, you just use a heat gun and a painter's 5-way tool, heat up where the bonding line is, and then go through and separate the panels. And then of course you've got to go clean the bonding strips up before you can put any new panels on. If you start scraping just the paint off the top, you can see this line is actually the part line where the bonding takes place. So the glue goes on, they screw those two pieces to the bonding strip or clamp them in there some way, they dry, and then they put filler in the gap here. So if you can expose it down to where you can see the bonding line, you can see where the part is for the quarter panel. Up here a little bit further, you can see where I've scraped some of the filler out where the bonding seam is. So this part right here is where the quarter panel actually begins. So what I'm going to do is heat in there, jam my 5-way tool in, and then work down the parting line to be able to get the rest of that quarter panel off. And I'll show you that after I'm done. Alright, starting to capture just kind of some clues as to where the panels go together, like on the rear end of a C3 style Corvette. If you got one of these older cars, this is just a complete rear clip kinda out of a 73 convertible. What you can see, hope it comes out good in the pictures, is this lighter line that goes along the entire length. And sometimes you can pull that out by a little bit of sanding, sometimes it's already there just because the paint's faded. And that is the bonding line between the upper deck and the quarter panel. So that's kind of where you're going to be digging between there with the heat gun and the 5-way tool to get this quarter panel off. Alright, after a few minutes of work with the heat gun, and I actually used a little bit of sandpaper just to bring this bonding line out some more. So you can kind of see where the light strip runs back to where I've past where I peeled the paint off, and then you know it's around right there, and then as it runs forward where you peel the paint off and where I sanded, you can see where the bonding line is there. So the top SMC pieces here, this is a bunch of goop, either like a body filler or just the glue that they use to glue the panels together. I have no idea what the factory used. And then on the bottom side down here is the top line of the quarter panel itself. This is just getting the 5-way tool started into the bonding line along the quarter panel. I started at the front basically because it was just a good place to start and I could tell where it was. I mean, you could start in the middle and go either direction, it doesn't really matter. But you're just going to heat along that bottom seam and then work your 5-way tool all the way back along the bonding line until you get the quarter panel off. And that's pretty much it. Alright, so back after a few minutes with the heat gun and a 5-way tool, and I just started digging out some of the bonding compound along the bonding line. When you do this, remember to bias the heat toward the part that you don't want to keep, and don't ruin your good part. So I'm trying to keep that turtle deck up on the top of there, the back deck. Of course, that's going to need a little bit of fiberglass repair in there, but such is life. So bias your heat down that way and then just work along the seam line. Okay, continuing with the video, just to show you you work along that bonding seam, and you'll be surprised at how thin these pieces of fiberglass are. I mean, they're pretty thin, and they come off pretty easy. They'll break while you're taking them off, so be careful with that. Wear gloves if you need to get it the rest of the way off. It's got to be worked all the way down this quarter panel, or the front door. I guess it would be the back of the door edge along the jamb there. So it's got to be worked down that line. I can pull it apart a little bit until you get to the bottom. And then once you get it off the bonding strip in the back, it'll come off pretty easy there. One of the things I might mention is you probably want to buy one of the manuals that shows all the parts and the bonding lines, how it's put together. Makes it a lot easier to take it apart. And then yeah, I do have a hammer back there, really just for light taps. You don't want to be a gorilla with this stuff. You can cause more damage than you do good. But yeah, so that's how you remove a quarter panel. And you can see I've already gotten the tail panel off of it. So yeah, there you go. I'll make you dizzy with this thing. Okay, that's it.